Yeah, I'm not listening.
Cool.
Welcome to the Illuminati podcast. She was fantastic.
She was great, yeah.
She was fantastic. I have not spoken enough.
She needs more recognition.
Yeah, she does, man. She does. In my head, I was like, I feel like I've got more to say about her. Like, he was the perfect director for this film. Yeah. I don't feel like any other director could have, Scorsese, Spielberg, I'm sorry. Hello, welcome to the Word for Watch podcast. I am the host, Kane D. Allen. With me, I have my co-host, John-Joesph III, who likes to go by...
John.
Excellent. I have to ask you the question because...
Yeah, we might change it every time.
Good. Today, we're going to be talking about the Manchester Independent Film Festival, also known as... Manif. We're fresh from the festival, as you can see. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to put it here, actually, safely down here somewhere.
Okay, that's a good idea.
But we've got some interesting films. We've got 5 films to talk about, 5 feature films. Yep. And we're going to go in chronological order because sometimes it's nice to be linear. But let's get into it, man.
Sounds good.
So the first thing we had was Raine.
Day one, first day going in.
Yeah.
First day.
You want to go first? What do you think of Raine?
I'll go first. It was really good. I wasn't expecting it. And I'm not big on like your rom-com kind of like films and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting. This, in my opinion, was more of a com-rom. So there's more comedy than romance. It was interesting to see that side of it. The 2 actors, which I think you've got them there, haven't you?
Yes, I have. I've got Vivan, Oparah, and David Jonsson.
Yes. They were both incredible. They were great. I think the on-screen presence they both had together and like their chemistry worked really well.
Yeah.
But yeah, really interesting take on kind of a love story kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%. I think what was really interesting about Raine. So Raine, just so you know, is a place in London, South London. Mm-hmm. And when we heard that Raine, the director, was talking about it, she said that she just wanted it to be portrayed how it is.
Yeah, she wanted something real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that led to a very entertaining film immediately. Because even though you got this com-rom story going on, you got all the like chaos and like this like brightness, which you can visually see.
Yeah, it's funny as well that some of it wasn't planned. Like they literally said like, oh, they just filmed in London, and obviously whoever walked past and stuff was just part of London, part of the background, and
part of the authenticity.
Yeah, just to sell it kind of thing.
Yeah, but it was great. That gave it a really like entertaining layer.
Yeah.
It was never a dull moment because of that.
No.
But then on top of that, you had that like energetic chemistry from the 2 actors, the 2 leads you just mentioned, and so it was a great film. It was a fantastic start, and yeah, man, I didn't expect it to be so blown out of the water.
That's what I think. We've gone in not knowing what to expect. It always seems we've done it loads of times, and it always seems better because you don't know what you're looking for, and it's kind of like, well, just along for the ride, along for the journey, see what happens. That's
it, man. It was a good film. Raine is out at the moment. It came out on the 17th of March, so you can catch that in the cinemas. And yeah, I think it's definitely worth a watch.
I was going to say you spoke a little bit to Vivian, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
I don't know if you wanted to mention that just
to
see.
Yeah, I did. Like, I did speak to Vivian. And first of all, it was fascinating because the character she plays is so... there's a layer of confidence there, isn't there? And that seems really assured of who she is, self-assured. When I spoke to Vivian... this is like the 4th place they'd been to on like the run of the film and the premiere, and so I didn't get that character, which is quite interesting. Because then you
also draining as well, though, like when you go into numerous ones.
But it's interesting because I can then see how much acting she did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very true.
Like,
Very
I'm
true.
not looking
Completely
at
different person.
Yeah. She talked about like how she got interacting and like how she got involved in the film, and like how her agent read it and was like, you should just definitely use something you should do. And also she almost didn't star with David. She was almost with somebody else. You remember they talked about
they were saying
the chemistry process they did, where they kind of get like a series of couples together and you get set, and that's like seeing who's got the best
different
chemistry.
People obviously coming in, and obviously you've got like cross-match them and everything else. And I've got that. That was interesting.
That's it. And we also learned from Vivian as well that how David portrayed the character wasn't initially how they were wrote. He brought a lot of that awkwardness and
Yeah, his character is so awkward.
bro, his character's a lot of things. Some of the words ain't nice words. I couldn't believe it, you know. But the funny thing is, towards the end of the film, I actually started to like root for him a lot more.
Yeah, he came out more, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's more confidence behind him as well.
Yeah.
I suppose that changed it a little bit from what you see from the start to the finish is completely different.
I found his drip crazy.
Yeah, it was a bit weird.
The clothes he wore were crazy. But that's not, I'm not saying the wardrobe did a bad job. I'm saying like the characters' choices of clothing wouldn't have been my own.
Maybe it's just the London style. Maybe we just don't know.
That's how Londoners dress. No, man, it was a really great film. It was colourful in so many different ways.
Definitely.
So many different ways. What are you finishing on, rating wise?
First film of the week, I was going to give it 7.8. 7.9.
You was gonna give it.
I am sorry. I am going to give it.
I was gonna give it that.
A 7.9.
7.9.
7.9.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I've got a slightly higher rating. I've got there. Let me confirm I haven't changed my mind. I've got there 8.3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still pretty close.
You know what? I think initially I was like, whoa, but then like I've settled on it. I've really thought about it, and 8.3 is not a low rating.
No.
It is a great film. I originally had it like closer to 9, but for me, I think that's a more honest rating for me. 8.3. I thought it was a good film. I enjoyed it.
Definitely.
Going on to the second film, New Normal.
Yeah. Well, that's day 3.
Is it?
Yeah.
What's next?
Wasn't Snorkeling second?
Nope.
Ignore me then. Let's carry on.
You have been ignored.
Thank you.
So going on to New Normal then. I'll start.
Okay.
New Normal, bro.
New normal.
Yo, it reached the whole new normal, you know.
It really did. It really did. So the new normal society showed everything.
The new normal society sounds like illegitimate. This is the new normal society.
Good podcast name.
Yeah, I'm not listening.
Cool.
Welcome to the Illuminati podcast. Yeah, man, New Normal was sick, boy.
It's really good.
So let's talk about New Normal a little bit. It is a Korean film. It's a horror. And it follows 6 different characters woven together in the same world who don't naturally know who they are, but they all play a part in each other's lives. It's a horror, as I said. I love New Normal, you know. I loved it. It's crazy because I was laughing all the way through the film.
But it's meant to be a horror, which is not what you'd expect.
I wouldn't even say meant to because I jumped a few times.
Yeah, okay.
So it landed in its horror category. Like, it did its job as a horror, but it was funny. It was very funny, bro. Like, it was very funny.
See, it's annoying as well. Can you break it down to like the 6 separate stories, or is it better just to review it as all of it? And then, because obviously just speaking about the film, you don't know which part was like your favourite or which story was your best one kind of thing. I
would say, I have to look at it as a completed masterpiece because it's like looking at an album and going, this was a great album with 4 good songs out of 12. It was, but I don't have to say that about New Normal because I enjoyed every single story.
Same.
I think even if you looked at it individually, it wouldn't be as good. It's the fact that how well it comes together.
How it's woven together.
Yeah, that's what makes it so brilliant. I want to say who the actors are, but they're Korean and I do not want to butcher their names. So all the names of those 6 actors can be found below, as well as the director. Are you feeling brave, John-Jo? You feel like...
What was it again?
So, I actually didn't put it on my iPad, so you've got it.
This shouldn't take this much time. 1 second.
It's all right, it's not going to take long. I just want to see you. Let me clear my throat before I mess this up.
Okay. So I've got it as, I'm going to say this, I apologise.
I've got it as, sounds like, as if I've said it incorrectly, this is what I've got here. It's correct on there.
So I have it, I'm going to say it as Jung, Bum-Shik.
Okay. I feel like...
Could be completely wrong, but, you know, big hats off to him because it was a really good film.
No, it was good. It was really, really good. Out of the 6, what would you say your favourite story was?
The very last one.
The last one, of course.
And yeah.
Yeah, that was your favourite actor as well, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I like, you know which one I liked?
Yes, I did.
The guy that lives next door.
Yeah.
The guy, it's like, without saying
weird
too much.
story.
It
the way it was
weird.
stylized, the way it was all like drawn out was just weird.
Bro, it's funny, bro. It was funny. That actual story, that bit, I could show this individually. Like, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. Oh man, I feel like New Normal is going to be one to look out for.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's worth a watch when it comes out, definitely.
Yeah, I think we've got New Normal. I didn't put any of my notes for New Normal down. Have you got the release date?
No, I actually couldn't find it.
Oh, really?
It wasn't on there.
Okay.
I would hazard a guess at later this year.
Okay.
If I was going to say. Because I'm pretty sure it's already been out in Korea.
Okay.
And obviously they just brought it over here. So it'll probably be out soon.
Yeah. Definitely one to look out for.
Yeah.
Again, Korea with another banger, man.
Yeah. You're like...
because you know like Parasite.
But no, this was miles out of Parasite in my opinion.
But it's funny though, because I could see elements of both. I could see elements between the two, like the mixture of characters, so individual, how they're connected. Yeah. I think I've seen about 2 or 3 Korean films now, and I can't remember them all very well, but I'm curious. Like, you know what? I am looking forward to more Korean films.
Oh yeah, like these kind of films make me want to watch more. It's like with series like Alice in Borderland and stuff like that. Yeah. You see it and you're like, I want to watch more because they seem like so well developed. Yeah. A lot more than some, like American or British TV shows or films and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, man. New Normal was sick, bro. Yeah. Really, really good. What rating are you finishing on?
That one, I'm going to go with 8.8.
8.8?
8.8.
Solid.
Yeah, it was up there.
Yeah, I can't lie. I'm on exactly the same, bro. I'll get 8.8 too,
okay,
man.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
like it was good. What did it need to be a 9? Because it felt so good, but for some reason it just didn't get 9.
Maybe more. Maybe if there was more parts to it.
Yeah.
That were even more like woven. Because I could happily sit there and watch that as like a series and like an anthology series that like they're all connected and obviously all followed on for each other.
Yeah.
I think it was a lot of them were really short. And then it was kind of like they got to the punchline, but you're also kind of like, what happened next?
Yeah, you're right. I think I said this a while ago in the episode 9 wrap up. I think for something to be in a 9, it has to have like touched my soul. Like it has to like invoke a lot of emotion, a lasting impression. And New Normal has that on like a comedic level. Like it was so humorous, but I don't leave feeling like, man, like what am I doing with my life? You know what I mean? I'm not left.
You don't question things.
Yeah, it's not that like the impression wasn't that deep.
But I would say it does leave you with the whole thing of like, what's going on around me that I had know nothing about. But obviously loads of people are connected to whatever it is.
Yeah. There is that whole idea, isn't it? And then we talked about this as well. The whole idea of it being called New Normal is because we're living in a normal that we've now became used to. Yeah. This is the new normal. Yeah. And some of the things they touch on how dark it is and how normal that's become.
Yeah, no one cares about it. And it's just kind of like, oh, it's just life. It's just
mad.
New. It's the normal that everyone experiences.
It's mad that has become normal. I guess that's what it's speaking on, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, definitely. It's like that the second one. And it just cuts off and you're kind of like, wait, what's just happened to him?
Yeah.
And you just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that obviously always happens all the time.
Yeah. Great film. Absolutely great film. Next we have Shut Eye. Leaders with Shut Eye. Well, yeah, explain Shut Eye to us.
Shut Eye was an ASMR kind of film. There was a girl that...
I just realised that you weren't overly fond of this film.
I wasn't.
But let's hear your explanation.
Yeah, I wasn't. It's a girl who's struggling with like insomnia. And she doesn't know how to obviously get rid of it. And then she's given advice to look at like ASMR, or she finds something that's taken back. That takes her back, and it's kind of she forms this new relationship kind of with this ASMR side of things. And then it all kind of delves more into a love story, and kind of like not addiction. What's it called? I can't think of the word. Well, obsession.
Obsession.
Like, yeah, obsession side of things. And it got very strange very quickly. Very quickly.
Yes. Shut Eye, man. I like Shut Eye. But I watched it and it took me a while to get into it. It took me a while to understand it. Like, what is it? Where is this going?
Yeah.
What is... Okay, she's strange. Okay, she's suffering with that. But... where is it going? What does it mean?
Yeah, like she was an outcast and an introvert. Yeah. And it's like, right, okay, but what's next kind of thing?
And it clicked. I remember it clicking and I went, oh, okay, this is what it means. And that did, I think that was a really important message. I felt like it was, obviously it's all about ASMR, like you said. And like, I felt like because of that, the score and the soundtrack was very important. And the music, and I really enjoyed that element as well.
Yeah, they needed stuff that was soothing at parts, but then obviously when they get into the darker parts of it, they needed something that was more upbeat and stuff.
Yeah, man, I felt like I feel like I don't think it's for everyone.
No, I will say I felt uneasy watching it.
Yeah.
But I'm not a fan of ASMR. So when you're in there and you start hearing these like crackling sounds or like a voice that's like too close to the mic, I didn't like it.
And I think that's it, you know. I think it depends how prepared you are to be intimate with the film.
Yeah.
And I think it takes a certain openness for that. I found it really insightful with all that kind of stuff about AMSR and all that kind of stuff. But I also found like if you can follow the character on that journey and just enjoy it for what it is, then you can come out with a real lesson learned.
Yeah, I reckon there is a lot of people who are experiencing the same thing.
Yeah.
So loads of people love ASMR. There's YouTube channels everywhere. There's TV shows or whatever, like exploring this whole ASMR thing. It's just not for me. It's not for me. I couldn't imagine anything worse than trying to sleep and somebody's like right in your ear kind of thing.
I found on a personal level, I found it quite difficult. No, quite striking because I'm an extrovert. I'm an extrovert, loudest voice in the room, complete socialite. I don't know how many other things I can say about how great I am. Well, no, because it's wrong to say that being an extrovert's great, because you know what I mean? But like, for me, I'm so far away from that character. So I found it like, wow, I didn't know that life could be that difficult. Like, it's really simple. Like, just go out with your mates. Like, do this, go
coming
that.
from an introvert side, it can be difficult, depending obviously like as you're growing up with it or how old you are kind of thing, it can be really hard to...
And she's away from home.
Yeah.
That's really difficult.
That's the thing as well, when it gets the darker side of it and it's kind of like, right, okay, you can see she's going through it.
Yeah. Towards the end of the film, she makes a choice that's something else actually. The choice that she makes, that then the person that she's obsessed with makes them suffer. You know, that choice.
Yep.
That's a really deep topic to talk on as well.
Yeah.
I didn't even know, because it's a New Zealand film, and I know of that happening, but the way they brought that in was heavy.
The way you see it is really hard, because it just shows us like, oh, it takes one thing to do it.
Yeah, to ruin someone's life.
Yeah.
Well, ruin a few people's lives.
Yeah.
But that kind of makes you choose then, because I feel like you kind of are like, maybe you got sympathy for the character, and then that choice is made.
She does certain things, you're just kind of like, no, you went too far. You've messed up. You've kind of gone against something that the other person was really invested in or was really kind of against, which then obviously selling yourself out a little bit.
That's it. Yeah, I think. Would you say it's worth a watch, John? Because you don't.
If you like ASMR, happily worth a watch. If not, then just be prepared for it. I personally wouldn't say worth a watch, in my opinion. But I know I reckon it will resonate with a lot of people.
Yeah, I think it will. I think if you're an extrovert and you want to have the opportunity to see what it's like not to be one,
that insight into seeing like the other side kind of thing, or just what it's like.
or if you know any introverts that are like, and you don't, you know what I mean, you've always questioned them and you don't get it, I think it's a good opportunity to learn about that.
Yeah,
definitely. But no, I like it, and I think it is worth a watch.
What you finished on rating wise?
On the rating, I finished on a 7.3.
Oh, okay. I'd probably go with like a 6.3.
6.3.
Yeah.
I think that's fairly low. Would you say it's a bad film?
Would say it's a bad film.
Would you say it's okay?
There's certain things that I would have liked to see, but that's just my personal preference. I think that's all it was.
So for Shut Eye, have you got the actors and director?
I do. I have director is Tom Levesque. Don't know if that's right again.
Bro, you look at me for confidence every time.
I look
at you like, I am dyslexic. I read backwards.
And then I've got actors as Sarah May and Millie Von Cole.
So that's the lead.
Yes, they're the two leads.
Yeah, and Sarah May is the kind of obsession, blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
She was an interesting character as well. She was a great,
She was fantastic. I have not spoken enough.
She needs more recognition.
Yeah, she does, man. She does. In my head, I was like, I feel like I got more to say about her. And it's about Millie.
Yeah, she was
She
good.
was brilliant. She was brilliant. Her performance was like seamless. Because all the way through, I was like, why is she so weird? And I was like, she's acting weird. I was like, my goodness.
I didn't know.
I forgot she was acting. It's so natural. I
thought it was a documentary.
Yeah, bro, she was so good because like it was so like cringeworthy. And that's because she just made it like, she just smashed that.
Yeah, she made it so awkward.
Yeah.
But it had to be, and that's what she's trying to sell it to those people kind of thing.
Bro, it was a provoking performance, man. Just like watch them, like it was just, it was debilitatingly awkward.
Yeah.
Literally. Well done, Millie.
But yeah, that performance is 10 out of 10, but it's just the story was just a bit iffy for me. Yeah.
Fair enough. On to the next one. We have Snorkeling. Oh,
Rough journey, that film.
bro, yes, it
Rough
is.
journey.
And as it should be.
Definitely.
You explain Shut Eye, so I'll explain Snorkeling.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you very much, Kane, for taking this one. With Snorkeling, it explores drug addiction, and there's a new drug that is inhaled through a mask, like kind of mask that you put on your head, and that's why it's called snorkeling. And yeah, it's a coming of age film about how they navigate this new drug and the people that are connected through it without giving too much away. Yeah, man, we said it. Everything about the film festival is we don't know what you're expecting. You get like a blurb, you get an explanation about it, but you don't really know. You don't really get around to seeing trailers. You don't speak to anybody who's seen the film first, and there's a lot of times you don't really get to speak to any directors or actors first and get an idea what they're about. So everything is going to be brand new to a degree, and every film we saw was brand new. Every single film was brand new. But this was a different new.
Yeah, this was, again, just a journey watching it, and it's just so like real and gritty.
Yeah.
And the connection it also had, afterwards finding out more about it, and it's kind of like, that is really hard to deal with. And you've put that to the screen to make it so versatile and so readily available to everybody else.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a PSA, like drug use and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, just the way the cast like spoke about what was happening was like hard to watch.
Yeah, man. It was hard to watch, but I couldn't stop watching.
Yeah, visually, when you're actually watching that, and it's just like, whoa.
Did we get down the name of the guy who did the special effects?
Damn, no, I did not.
I'm sorry.
He needs a big shout out.
He does.
That needs to be like a big like red banner at the bottom or something like it was this guy.
He was incredible, man. All the actors and people involved, I will be putting their names below. But yeah, like Snorkeling, the two things that I took from Snorkeling what I found were insane. Like the acting and the performances and the writing were great. Like really good. Not just great, like they were really good. But like the score and the visuals were mad.
Yep.
And what's fascinating is, because it's about drugs and stuff, it's the first time ever I've seen a film where I was like, this is a true depiction of drugs. Like I feel like it feels like this is a trip.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, is it meant to? Then when we heard Emile Navarre, the director, talk about it, I was like, yes, it is.
It had to be just to show what that, lifestyle's like kind of thing, or what you're seeing because you're trying to escape from certain things.
Yeah, man. I can't lie. Like I'm down for Snorkeling, man. Like every element of it, like how well it was done. The young actors that are like smashing it. We've got Daniel, what's his name? Daniel
Zolkaradi.
Okay.
Or Hardry.
I cannot correct you.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, and also you have Christine Forsyth. That's easy. Yeah, man, they were fantastic. They absolutely smashed it. And then like this the journey. I was so driven to see the end. Like I was so in. And at first, it kind of feels like a lot. Because it starts off and straight away,
so
just like, boom.
much, everything's visually, and you're looking at it, you're kind of like, whoa, there's like sensory overload.
And that's what it should be like. That's exactly what you need.
Yeah.
And I feel like the director himself, he talks about his own personal interactions with drugs. And then also coming from a music video background, I talked about it already, but like he was the perfect director for this film. Yeah. I don't feel like any other director could have Scorsese, Spielberg, I'm sorry.
He just wouldn't know how to do it.
I just feel like it was just so, he was just the right fit for it, because I think everything he's gone through in his life just gave him the perfect outlook and understanding, of what this needs to be like. Yeah. So yeah, man, Snorkeling, I don't believe it's out yet. I think it's going to be
again
not sure. Not been given a strict idea of when the release date is, but definitely one to look out for. Yeah. Definitely one to look out for.
The interesting thing I was going to say as well, we were speaking about what genre we would put on it, and obviously we came up with coming of age, and then it was also kind of like a mind-bending drama. Because the way it's obviously those animated side of things or the effect side of things, you just watch it, you're kind of like, what is going on? Yeah.
And also as well, what's mad is I feel like mind-bending drama isn't normally what you get, because normally drama is quite straight and direct. Yeah. And then mind-bending can be a little bit more out there.
It's very true to real life kind of thing.
Would you call it mind-bending or cerebral?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mad, man. Question is though, would you snorkel if given a chance?
I personally wouldn't know.
No. I wanted to ask Emil that. Yeah, I wanted to ask him. I didn't get around to it. Obviously, I saw him there and stuff, and I chatted to him, and I should have messaged him Instagram about it, but I'd love to know. I'd love to know. I can't say I wouldn't.
I reckon a lot of people would because it's so weird when you're watching it. It's a lot. It's like a lot of different drugs. Obviously, you've got like NOS, or you've got like DMT.
It's a lot like DMT.
Or like weed, or mushrooms. It's just, it's like everything thrown in together. So to be able to do one thing that can give you such an out of body experience and where you can still move around the world, feeling that like indestructibility would be amazing. But then you've also got to think this film perfectly shows the highs, but definitely the lows.
Yeah.
And how like quickly it can go from one to the other.
Yeah.
And how dark it can get.
I also feel like as well though, it doesn't just say drugs are bad. It's like drugs can be dangerous. And when you say can be dangerous instead of is dangerous, it says that like drugs can be done well.
Yeah.
Like they can be done anything in like is it consideration? Moderation. Anything done in moderation. It's, you know what I mean? It might not be that bad. And I like that because I think some people need drugs. I mean, they touched on that in the film. Like some people, they can't live their life without drugs. Yeah. And I'd rather you smoked a little bit too much weed than you did something really harmful to yourself. You know what I mean?
It's that escapism side of things.
Yeah.
It's just that mentally and it being so debilitating or so draining. Yeah, it takes a different turn.
100%, man. 100%. I also feel like as well, like the characters are not like, especially the lead, the kind of character he is kind of in the background. So there's that whole idea of going from being invisible to invincible.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's.
So I preferred the girl's performance to his performance. You know, I was thinking after it when it came out, I was like, it's so much darker for her. And it felt like she was just meant to be a side character, but there's so many important messages for her character.
I don't think she's a side character. I'd say she's definitely a lead. But I definitely enjoyed Daniel's performance more. Just, you know what, maybe, I don't know, I can't say after one watch which was the better performance, but I can say I enjoyed Daniel's performance. Like, the like awkward teenage guy, you know.
Didn't know what I was doing, trying to learn new things.
Flexing
and all
in the mirror because he's got his first bicep. Like, you know, stuff like that. Like, it's just
or trying to impress a girl.
Yeah, it was entertaining. The black guy was good. I found him really funny. Tim Jonsson Jr.
Yes, he was good.
He wasn't like, he was one of the supporting characters, but I enjoyed every scene he was in.
Yeah, he's just funny though. It's like that comedic side of things, just to be like, okay, there is still, you have a real life and you still need to try and get by it.
This film really is super bad on acid. Just realised.
Okay. Yeah, interesting way of seeing it. Yeah.
Like, obviously Superbad does that whole like plot and there's a lot more comedy in it, but like the coming of age versus how mad it is, definitely is where it is like what I'd describe it as. Great film. Great film. Then we're on to our final film.
Rating wise?
Oh, yes. I finished on Snorkeling on a 8.9.
Oh, she's having a normal.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 8.7.
Yeah, 8.9. Ooh. Did I enjoy it more than New Normal? No.
I know how my rating's going to go if we do it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to say 8.7. Incredible film. Hats off to Emil. It was incredible.
Yeah.
The way he's put something, on the screens. Yeah.
No, I can't say I enjoyed it more than New Normal. You know what? No. Oh, this is really hard. I'm never this indecisive. And that just goes to showing how good these films are. I feel like New Normal was the more enjoyable film. You know what I mean? Like, Snorkeling had a lot of hard things to swallow. And that is, when it's a hard swallow, it's difficult. Yeah. And you might be putting that out of your comfort zone. So I feel like Snorkeling it felt like it's the more meaningful film. But I feel like the film that I enjoyed more was New Normal. Like, when I look at the emotions they both provoked, the emotions that I got from New Normal, like the laughter and the enjoyment from that, I got more of. But I do think Snorkeling was an incredible film.
They both have such dark messages as well.
Yeah.
So it is hard to try and like...
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go on the middle and go 8-8. Both on
8-8.
8-8, yeah. I'm gonna say
it's gonna be really difficult when we're coming to go. So which one goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
I can do that. I can do that.
Cool.
But I'm gonna say I enjoyed them both the same. Maybe New Normal edges it. Okay. But I'm never gonna go. It was an 8.85. I'm just not gonna do that.
Start breaking it down to the little points.
I'm not because with 4 years into the future, I'd be like, so it's to the 4th decimal point, and we're all night.
I can now recite pi to this many places.
But yeah, man, Snorkeling, fantastic film. Yeah. Then on to the final film.
last film of the day. Last film of the week, should I say.
Yes, and it was Breaking. Talk to us about Breaking, bro. What's it about?
Again, another hard film, you know.
Yes.
Based on a true story. I didn't get the guy's name down. That's probably would have been one of the biggest things to do. You know, the actual, who it was based on, I forgot to do that.
Brian Brown?
Maybe. But yeah, I forgot to take that down.
Yeah. I know his first name was Brian.
Yeah. But it was based on, obviously, a true story about, as Kane said, Brian. Might not be.
Definitely Brian, but I don't know his last name.
And it's about kind of like a bank robbery a little bit. But also the other side of it's kind of what's led to him being in this situation of committing a bank robbery.
Yeah, why?
Yeah. And in my opinion, there was a lot of like mental health side of it. I know you didn't think as much because it was more the situation he was in kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say too much because I don't want to give too much away.
No, I think
but
you're
I suppose
right.
if you've obviously already seen the news anyway, you're going to know of the story.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. I think you described it right. It's about this guy robbing a bank and why he's done it. It's not about it's not for the typical reasons you'd expect.
Yeah.
That's what the story is about.
Right, okay.
And first things first, I said a few episodes ago, we were talking about Woman King, and I was talking to you about how John Boyega don't really do meaty roles.
Yep.
Oh, I was happy you heard me. He obviously listened to the podcast and then decided to do this film.
Yeah, this is different.
It was nice, man. It
The
was a
way he
real
was playing
character
it,
acting. Yeah. It was good, man. It was really good. I enjoyed that because I know John Boyega is a fantastic actor. I just don't feel like I see him doing the ends of his ability, pushing himself to the max of his ability or his limits. But this felt like much more closer to that. It was a very what's the word I'm thinking of when it's like not capturing, what's the word I'm thinking? Captivating. It's a very captivating performance. Every time he comes on screen as the lead is what you want, but every time he came on screen, I was just like, what's next? Where's he going? He's playing a character who is just going through so many
Struggling
emotions.
so much,
many emotions, but also is so motivated to explain what's going on.
And not even for himself though, that's the thing.
Yeah, so it was great. It was great. From day one of the when we looked at all the different films we're going to try and see, and we did want to see more, but the films that we were going to see, I always wanted to see Breaking. I knew Breaking was going to be on that list because of John Boyega. It's one of the only actors I actually knew before, but it was better than I expected.
And with such a minimal cast as well, like people who you actually interact with, I mean, it was just interesting to see the different connections or the different, like, the way they spoke to each other, kind of, even though it should have been fear, it should have been all these different things, and everything was in there. Yeah.
I also think what I liked about Breaking was, or what was strange about Breaking was that, like, it was long and short. So the film itself felt quite long, but then the story was short. I don't know, how can I articulate that better? I felt like what was going on was going on for a very long time, but then at some point I felt like everything just happened really quick. Yeah. Maybe that's because of the ending. It felt really abrupt.
That is because obviously the story of what happened though.
Yeah.
It's that whole thing of like there's this massive standoff and then something happened. It's kind of like, oh,
whoa, what's going on?
What's going on? What's just happened?
Yeah. Really, really important story there. Really important story. I'm really happy a film has been made on it. There's a pre-recording before the film.
Yeah, and she literally says, obviously we found out
she being a director.
What? Yeah, was that the director?
Yeah,
I wasn't too sure because I know it was a different name on there and stuff.
No, I believe it's the director, Abs Damaris Corbin.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was interesting for her to be like, okay, this film needed to be made. It happened like 2017. But she was saying how his story hasn't finished. Yeah. Like because there's not been a significant kind of change to it or a change kind of thing.
Nothing. Yeah, it's not really been taken as it should have, like been understood. Yeah, really important story. Something that I'm happy has been made into a film. Yeah. As I said, the director, John Boyega, all the people who signed on to the film felt like this story needed to be told. Shout out to the cast members, being Nicole Bahari, Salnis Leva.
Yeah.
And also as well, the late Michael Kenneth Williams. It was good to see him in a film, man.
It's good, you know.
It was good to see him in a
Again,
film.
he was like captivating when he came on. You were kind of like, what's going to happen next? Or what's he going to do next?
I think I saw his name the first day. So obviously it was like, watched it on the last day. So it was 9 days ago. So I saw his name and I was like, oh man. And it was a whole new surprise to see him again because I'd forgot because of everything that went on. Yeah, it was great to see him on screen. I imagine this may be one of the last things he was involved in. before his unfortunate demise or his unfortunate passing. But yeah, fantastic performance to finish on.
All of them.
Yeah. Great film. Great film.
Definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, definitely.
What are you going with rating-wise?
I've got a 7.8.
Okay. I'd probably go with an 8.
8 on the dot.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Good. So there you have it, guys. That is all the films that we managed to watch at the Manchester Independent Film Festival. It was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, big shout out to like the Odeon for actually hosting it, and even a lot of the directors and actors and stuff were saying how it looked so good on the screens, and the sound was amazing, and that's how they wanted it to be, received from everyone.
Yeah.
Which they obviously enjoyed, and I think that's what made a lot of people enjoy it even more, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It must be an amazing feeling to like make a film and go through that process. It sounds so hard from so many different people spoke about it, and then seeing it and it being done correctly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, like absolutely well done to Odeon for giving such great facilities for all the films that were shown. Shout out to Neil, the festival director, and also a friend of mine who produced a film that I was involved in last year, and he actually was able to get us involved in the festival. So yeah, I look forward to next year, man.
Should be good.
Hopefully,
different new
we'll
films,
make more features.
Hopefully, it's just that's the only thing that's difficult, trying to get everything fit. Like to see everything. It's kind of like you need to look at them and go, right, okay, this sounds interesting. Let's just go to this one, or try and sort out some kind of thing there.
Yeah, man, absolutely. As I said, all the films and any information I can give can be found below on about where it is and whatnot, and any release dates. Or of course, you can go on our Instagram, and we'll, as soon as we know one of those films comes out, we'll pop it out there as well. Is there anything else you want to say about the festival, dude?
No, it's just great. It's not what I thought we were doing, because obviously we found out so late, and it's just interesting to be there and seeing all these films that you just wouldn't expect to see. But I would definitely say anyone who's, once they come out, see them and just get to the cinema and watch them, kind of thing.
Absolutely. And if you have the opportunity to be, if you are from Manchester or you're willing to travel, I think it's definitely a festival worth going to.
Definitely. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, there you have it, guys. We've been Worth a Watch podcast. I hope you've enjoyed. Till next time, bye for now.